You couldn't sleep either, huh? I'm not surprised. The night has always had remarkable hearing. It notices the conversations people pretend not to have during the day. It's curious, isn't it? Spend enough time surrounded by noise, and eventually you begin mistaking silence for loneliness. Then the house grows quiet. The lights, they disappear. The world finally stops asking anything of you. And suddenly another conversation begins. No, not out there, no. In here. I've always wondered why people speak about the voice inside their heads as though they're the only one. There really is. One voice remembers every mistake you've ever made. Another insists tomorrow will be worse. And one, it whispers that you should have said something different 5 years ago. Another quietly wonders whether anybody truly understands you at all. And they gather like unexpected guests at a dinner party. Each is convinced they deserve the best seat at the table. Funny thing is, nobody invited them. Have you ever noticed that? These thoughts, they simply arrive. They don't knock. They don't introduce themselves. They don't ask whether you're busy. They just walk straight in and begin telling stories. I mean, some stories are beautiful. Others have dreadful imaginations. You know, I've learned something about stories. The more often they're repeated, the more convincing they become. Not because they're true, but because they're familiar. You see, familiarity has an extraordinary way of disguising itself as truth. Tell yourself something often enough, and eventually your heart begins believing it. Even if your soul quietly shakes its head in disagreement. Isn't that remarkable? Somewhere inside us lives a storyteller who never sleeps. It narrates the past, predicts the future, edits conversations, invents endings, and occasionally it casts us as the villain in stories nobody else is reading. Rather dramatic, don't you think? You see, I sometimes imagine the mind as an old theater. The stage is never empty. The curtains, well, they never close. Actors wander on. They perform tragedy, comedy, fear, hope, then disappear again. That's before the applause. And the mistake people make is believing they are every actor who steps onto that stage. I don't think they are. I think sitting quietly in the audience, forgetting they bought a ticket rather than wrote the script. Not every thought deserves a standing ovation. Some deserve polite applause. Some deserve gentle laughter. And some deserve to perform to an empty theater until they grow tired and leave. I mean, just imagine believing every actor who ever stepped onto a stage was telling the truth. It's ridiculous. Yet people, they do exactly that inside their own minds every day. A frightened thought arrives, and immediately their convinced fear has become reality. A lonely thought arrives, and suddenly the entire world seems empty. One small doubt becomes an identity. One difficult morning becomes a life sentence. The storyteller can be wonderfully convincing, but storytellers love drama. They always have. That's why I trust patterns more than moments. A single cloud has never convinced me the sky was broken. One rainy afternoon has never persuaded me summer had ended forever. So why should one anxious thought convince me I know the rest of my life? It shouldn't. No, it shouldn't. Perhaps the greatest freedom a person can discover is this. You're allowed to listen to your thoughts without hiring them as permanent advisors. You see, some are wise. Some are frightened children wearing adult voices. Some are echoes of people you've long since outgrown. Not every voice in your head belongs to you. Some belong to old teachers. Some to old fears. Some to old expectations. They rented space in your mind years ago, and they forgot to leave. Perhaps tonight, instead of arguing with them, simply notice them, like watching birds cross the evening sky. Beautiful, interesting, but never yours to keep. They'll pass. They always do. The sky, it never chases the birds. It simply remains wide enough to let them come, and wide enough to let them go. Maybe that's what peace looks like. Not silence. Space. Enough space for every thought to arrive. And enough wisdom not to mistake every visitor for family. Now there's a comforting thought. The mind can be noisy without being your enemy. It can wander without being lost. It can tell frightening stories without becoming one. So perhaps tonight, before sleep finally finds you, remember one small thing. You're not every thought you've ever had. You're the quiet awareness that noticed them arrive. And awareness, unlike fear, never raises its voice. So, sleep well. You know, I'll still be here when the night has questions again.